This week's Torah portion is actually one of my favorite portions of the week. It's called Lech Lecha. It begins with Exodus 12, where God commands Abraham for the first time, go forward from your father's house, from your birthplace, to the land that I will show you. And of course, it is at this point in time that God first calls upon Abraham to go to the land of Israel, which is at that point called the land of Canaan, and sets the stage for the land of Israel and the children of Israel being the promised land and the chosen people. I want to focus today on the very beginning of the portion where God actually gives this commandment and the first steps that Abraham takes in the land. Now, the chapter 12 reads as follows at the beginning. Now the Lord had said to Abram, get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house to a land that I will show you. And then it continues with, the blessings, etc., which I will skip for now. And then we have in verse 6, Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, or Shechem as we call it in Hebrew, as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh, or as it's often referred to as the oak of Moreh, and the Canaanites were then in the land. Now, there is a very famous classical commentator, Jewish commentator on the Bible called Nachmanides, and he lived in the 15th century, and he was one of the very few Jewish commentators of that time that actually managed to come to Israel. And he had to leave Spain. He was a Spanish Jew, and he ended up coming to Israel. So what's very interesting about his commentaries, when he discusses these verses, you can tell that he knows the geography of Israel. He has been there. And he says two very important things here. One is that he discusses what becomes a guiding principle of his commentary throughout Genesis. He says the actions of the forefathers are a sign for the children. What he means by that is that many of the actions that we see taken by Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob actually hint or are prophetic to things that will happen to the children of Israel later on in time. And he very often draws parallels between particular verses in the book of Genesis and verses that we will see later on in the Bible. On this verse, he talks about a few things. First of all, he tells you where is the oak of Moreh, where is Shechem, and he mentions Shechem. It is actually a city by the name of Shechem, and he talks about the fact that the oak of Moreh refers to the same area. It's there near Shechem. He then quotes a verse in Deuteronomy 11, verse 30. This is the place here is God is commanding Moses to tell the children of Israel when they come in to the land of Israel, they're going to go to Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal, and there they will have the ceremony of the blessings of the curses. So we have Deuteronomy 11, verse 30. Are they not on the other side of the Jordan, toward the setting sun, in the land of the Canaanites, who dwell in the plain opposite Gilgal, beside the terebinth trees of Moreh? This verse is explaining where is Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim, and it tells you it's opposite Gilgal. Now we know Gilgal is where the children of Israel first enter the land. They camp in Gilgal in the Jordan Valley, and it is very close to this same place, the Oak of Moreh, where Abraham comes. So first of all, of course, Nachmanides is making the connection that we have already in the Bible, that this place where Abraham first arrived is the very same place that they're going to, or very nearby, that they're going to come back to when they enter the land and go through this process of the blessings and the curses. I think this is actually a very interesting parallel. One more thing that Nachmanides mentions is very interesting. Here in our chapter, in chapter 12, there's the scripture mentions that the Canaanite is still in the land. Nachmanides connects that with the fact that later on in chapter 15, I believe, when there is the covenant, another covenant with Abraham, one of the covenants, God is promising Abraham the land, and he mentions, that he will inherit the land of the Canaanites, But he says it's going to take some time. It says, but in the fourth generation they will return here, but the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete. What Nachmanides is saying is that here, another indication when he talks about Shechem, is referring to the sin of Jacob's sons in defeating the people of Shechem and capturing Shechem. That was too early. Because God here says you have to wait those 4 generations because until then the sin of the Amorites is not done, and that this reference to Shechem, of course, indicates that as well. Okay, let us put this all together. Basically, what we have here is in the same geographical area, and this is really amazing because those of you who've been there, and I have been taking groups there for years already, you go there to this area. In fact, from the community of Itamar, you have this unbelievable view of Mount Ebal, Mount Gerizim, and the Oak of Moreh. You see on the other side of you where the Gilgal is in the Jordan Valley. You're standing right there, exactly at the kind of place that's described for us in full detail in Deuteronomy 11. And you see exactly that it's the very same place that Abraham first came into the land and first received the promises from God that this land will belong to his children. It's the very same place that the children of Israel have to come back to reaffirm their covenant with God, Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim. And this is no coincidence. This is a key place. And this key place is pointed out by God when Abraham first arrives in that area here in our weekly portion and is referred to again throughout the Bible. Abraham's journey, therefore, is not just an individual journey. Abraham's journey begins the history of the children of Israel, and it's the very location there in Shechem, the heart of Samaria, that brings that connection together for us. Shabbat Shalom from Samaria.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat.